Hello, my wonderful friends and family. This is Dr. Mandell, and today I want to speak directly to each and every one of you over the age of 60. Because your health, especially your leg strength and mobility, is something I care deeply about. Now listen closely. Most of us grow up thinking that all fruits are healthy. We hear that fruit is nature's candy, full of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and hydration. And yes, many fruits are powerful healing foods. But here's the shocking truth most people don't know. Some fruits, especially when eaten excessively or the wrong way, can actually hurt you, particularly your muscles and your legs. If you're over 60, you must be even more cautious. Why? Because after 60, your body doesn't process sugar the same way. Your muscles don't regenerate as fast. Your blood sugar sensitivity is much more delicate. And your leg strength, which keeps you mobile, independent, and confident, can quickly decline when you're unknowingly feeding your body the wrong foods. So today we're going to expose 7 of the worst fruits that could be secretly destroying your leg strength and causing muscle weakness, inflammation, joint pain, and even nerve dysfunction in your lower body. My friends, I want to speak to you from the heart today because this is something that I see happening far too often, especially in seniors over the age of 60. Now, we've all been told since we were young that fruits are healthy, that they're good for us, that we should eat more of them. But there's something you haven't been told, and that is not all fruits are created equal, especially when it comes to their effect on your muscles, your legs, and your blood sugar. Let me explain something very important. As we age, our metabolism changes. The way our body processes sugar, yes, even the sugar from fruit becomes less efficient. You might have been able to eat a banana, a handful of grapes, or a bowl of watermelon 30 years ago and feel energized. But today, that same fruit might be contributing to muscle weakness, fatigue, poor circulation, and even nerve issues in your lower extremities, your legs, your calves, your feet. Let's talk about sugar, because that's the big hidden culprit here. Fruits contain something called fructose, a natural sugar. In small amounts, your body can handle it, but when you eat certain fruits that are high in natural sugar and low in fiber, and you eat them in excess or without balancing them with other nutrients, something dangerous happens inside your body. Your blood sugar spikes. And I'm not talking about a tiny little increase. I'm talking about a sharp rise in glucose levels that your body may struggle to control, especially if you're insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, or diabetic, which, by the way, many seniors are and don't even know it. Now, what happens when your blood sugar spikes? Insulin gets released in large amounts to bring that sugar down, but too much insulin leads to inflammation, and it starts to affect your muscle tissue, especially the muscles that support your balance and movement, like those in your legs and hips. That's when people start saying things like, my legs feel heavy, or I have to sit down after standing for 5 minutes, or I keep losing my balance. Let me tell you something you probably haven't heard. High blood sugar weakens muscle tissue, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process, day by day, week by week. As you eat those sweet fruits thinking you're doing your body good, sugar is quietly damaging your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your muscle cells. When those break down, your legs can't function at full strength. Your energy declines, and your recovery slows down. Let me give you an example. Banana is a fruit that everyone thinks is a healthy choice. Yes, bananas have potassium, and potassium is good for the muscles and the heart, but overripe bananas, which many people prefer because they're softer and sweeter, are actually dangerous for seniors. Why? Because as they ripen, the starch in the banana converts into simple sugar. This simple sugar hits your bloodstream fast, just like a spoonful of table sugar. That's how quickly it gets absorbed. And what's the result? Insulin spike. Now think about that insulin. It doesn't just pull sugar out of your bloodstream, it also inhibits fat burning and slows down protein synthesis. That means your body is less able to build and maintain muscle, especially in your legs, which is the area that suffers most from inactivity and poor circulation. I see it all the time, older adults coming in with leg cramps, burning calves, tight hamstrings, unstable knees, and they don't understand what's causing it. They say, Doc, I'm eating healthy, I eat bananas, grapes, and oranges every day, but what they don't realize is that the type and timing of fruit intake matters greatly at their age. These fruits may be fueling the exact problems they're trying to fix. And it's not just bananas. Let's look at grapes. Sweet, easy to eat, and loaded with natural sugar. Just 1 cup of grapes can contain 23 grams of sugar. That's nearly 6 teaspoons. And the kicker is, grapes are high glycemic, which means they raise your blood sugar quickly. But unlike apples or berries, grapes have very little fiber, which means there's no brake pedal. The sugar gets absorbed quickly and aggressively. Now let me ask you this, if every day you're snacking on grapes or eating bowls of watermelon to stay hydrated, what do you think is happening to your insulin sensitivity? It's declining. And what happens when insulin sensitivity goes down? Your muscle cells can't absorb nutrients properly. They get starved of fuel, and that's when you feel tired, sore, weak, especially in the legs. And here's the real danger. Many seniors don't realize they're eating too much sugar because it's natural sugar. They think it's safe. But your body doesn't care if it's from fruit, soda, or candy. Too much sugar is too much sugar. The damage is the same, especially when your body can no longer metabolize it like it used to. Let's not forget about another major consequence, circulation. When sugar levels are consistently high, your blood becomes thicker and your arteries start to stiffen. That reduces oxygen delivery to your lower body muscles, your quadriceps, your glutes, your calves. And when those muscles aren't getting enough oxygen, they can't perform. They fatigue faster. They become prone to injury. That's why leg strength declines so rapidly in older adults who don't manage their diet. Even worse, poor circulation and nerve damage known as neuropathy begin to set in. That tingling or burning you feel in your feet at night, that's not just getting older, that could be sugar-induced nerve damage. And one of the major culprits might be that fruit you thought was healthy. Now listen, I'm not telling you to stop eating fruit completely. I'm telling you to choose wisely, to understand how certain fruits behave in your body, especially now that you're over 60. Your body is not the same as it was at 30 or 40. You must adjust to protect your strength and mobility. What you can do instead is opt for fruits with a lower glycemic index like berries, green apples, or kiwis. These release sugar more slowly into the bloodstream and are packed with antioxidants and fiber. And always remember this golden rule, never eat fruit alone. Pair it with a protein or healthy fat like a handful of almonds, a boiled egg, or Greek yogurt. That simple combination slows sugar absorption and protects your muscles from inflammatory damage. So please hear me loud and clear. If you're over 60 and you want to keep your legs strong, your balance stable, and your energy high, you need to be mindful of the fruits you eat, because the wrong fruits, eaten the wrong way, can quietly rob you of your strength. Let's make smarter choices, let's stay informed, and let's do everything we can to protect your legs, your independence, and your health. Because you deserve to walk strong, stand tall, and enjoy every step of life. And as always, make it a great day. My beautiful friends, I want to take a moment to speak to your heart, because this message could truly change the course of your health and your life, especially if you're over the age of 60. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you is something most doctors don't tell you, but it's absolutely critical if you want to maintain muscle strength, balance, and energy in your later years. After 60, your body doesn't work the same way it did when you were 30, 40, or even 50. You see, your body undergoes natural changes with aging, and one of the biggest shifts happens in how your body handles sugar, even the natural kind found in fruit. I want you to think about your body like an engine. When it's brand new, it's efficient, it burns fuel cleanly, it responds quickly, it's powerful. But after decades of wear and tear, if you don't make adjustments, if you keep fueling it the same way you did when it was young, it starts to break down. That's exactly what happens with your blood sugar metabolism after 60. Your insulin sensitivity drops. That means the hormone insulin, whose job it is to move sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells, becomes less effective. It's like trying to open a rusty door with a weak key. The sugar stays in your blood longer, and your cells, especially muscle cells, don't get the energy they need. What happens next? Fatigue, muscle loss, leg weakness, balance issues. Now here's the critical part. Many of you are unknowingly feeding this process every single day by eating fruits that your body can no longer process like it used to. Let's take something as simple as a ripe banana. When you were 25, your body could eat that banana, absorb the sugar, shuttle it into the muscle, and use it for energy. But now, after 60, your cells may not respond as well to insulin, and that banana could leave your blood sugar elevated for hours. And that's not just a number on a chart. That high blood sugar creates inflammation, it slows muscle repair, and it interferes with neurological signaling in the legs and feet. Have you ever felt like your legs are heavier than they used to be? Or you stand up and feel a little off balance, or you go for a walk and your legs tire out quicker than expected? That's not just aging, that could be your body telling you, I'm not handling sugar the way I used to, help me. And fruit, even the natural, wholesome kind, can be a big part of that issue. Let me tell you a story. A lovely 68-year-old woman came to see me. She was active, alert, very health conscious. She told me, Dr. Mandell, I don't understand what's going on. I walk every day. I don't eat junk. I have fruit for breakfast, watermelon, grapes, and orange juice. But lately my legs feel weak. I feel tired all the time. So we looked at her diet closely, and what we discovered was that every morning she was giving her body a massive hit of natural sugar on an empty stomach. And because her insulin sensitivity had declined with age, something that happens naturally to most people, her blood sugar would spike and crash, leaving her drained, her muscles underfueled, and her legs aching. My friends, this is far more common than you think. Now let's understand why this happens. When your blood sugar goes up quickly, your pancreas responds by releasing insulin. But as we age, our muscle cells become less responsive to that insulin. It's like the lock is jammed, so the sugar doesn't get into the muscle cells efficiently. And what's worse, that excess sugar floating around in the bloodstream doesn't just sit there, it gets converted into fat, and it creates inflammatory molecules called AGs, advanced glycation end products. These AGs literally damage your muscles, stiffen your joints, and slow your circulation, and it happens silently over time. That's why you might notice your legs feeling tight, your joints becoming achy, or your calves burning after short walks. You might think it's just wear and tear, but often it's the result of years of metabolic stress caused by sugar, yes, even from fruit being poorly managed in your aging body. So what can you do? First, acknowledge that your body has changed. That's not a bad thing. That's a normal, natural part of life. But it means you must start eating in a way that supports your current physiology, not the body you had 30 years ago. That means being strategic with your fruit intake. Choose fruits that are lower in sugar and higher in fiber. Fruits that release sugar slowly and won't overwhelm your system. Berries, for example, like blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are packed with antioxidants and fiber. They help stabilize blood sugar and reduce inflammation. Green apples, kiwis, and pears in moderation can also be good choices, especially when paired with protein or healthy fat. Why is that pairing so important? Because protein and fat slow down digestion. They act like a buffer, giving your body more time to process the sugar and preventing those dangerous spikes and crashes that lead to muscle weakness and fatigue. Now let me give you a powerful tip. Never eat fruit on an empty stomach, especially after 60. Always pair it with a hard-boiled egg, a small handful of almonds, or some Greek yogurt. That one small change can make a massive difference in how your muscles respond and how steady your energy feels throughout the day. You must also avoid fruit juices, dried fruits or canned fruits, and syrup. These are concentrated sugar bombs with little to no fiber. Your aging metabolism cannot handle that much sugar at once without consequences, and those consequences are seen in the legs first because the legs require massive amounts of blood flow, oxygen, and fuel to stay strong and stable. If you want to remain independent, if you want to walk confidently without a cane, if you want to get out of chairs without struggling, then you must protect your leg strength by managing your blood sugar. Because here's what no one tells you, the strength in your legs isn't just about exercise, it's about how well your muscles can access energy, repair themselves, and stay free from inflammation. And all of that begins with how your body processes sugar. And after 60, you need to be more careful than ever. My friends, I say this because I care deeply about your well-being. I want you to thrive. I want you to feel strong, to stand tall, to walk with pride and energy. But that means making adjustments. That means respecting the way your body changes with age and honoring it with the right choices. So don't fear fruit, but respect it. Choose the right kinds, eat them in the right way, and always remember your health is in your hands. With a little awareness, a little discipline, and a whole lot of love for your body, you can protect your strength, your balance, and your quality of life. You've got this. My dear friends, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you because this message could be the difference between living with strength or struggling with fatigue, weakness, and pain, especially in your legs. I say this with love because I know how many of you are trying to do the right things. You're eating healthier, cutting out junk food, and reaching for fruit because you believe it's the better option. And in many cases, that's absolutely true. But here's what most people, especially seniors over 60, don't understand. It's not just about what you eat, but how that food behaves in your body. And today I want to talk about two of the sneakiest dangers in the modern diet, dangers that hide behind the innocent label of fruit. And those are fruit juice and dried fruit. Now, fruit juice and dried fruit may look like healthy choices. You might think it's just fruit, right? It's natural, no problem. But the truth is, these concentrated forms of fruit sugar are far more harmful than most people realize, especially to your muscles, your nerves, and most importantly, your legs. Let me explain this in simple terms. When you eat a whole piece of fruit like an apple or a pear, you're getting natural sugars, but you're also getting fiber. And that fiber plays a crucial role. It slows the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. It keeps your insulin levels stable. It helps you feel full and satisfied. That's the way nature intended us to eat fruit, with the fiber intact. But when you drink fruit juice, that fiber is gone. It's stripped out during the juicing process. What you're left with is essentially sugar water. Yes, even if it's labeled 100% juice with no added sugar. And when you pour that juice into your glass, you're often drinking the sugar equivalent of 3 or 4 pieces of fruit in just a few gulps. Let's take orange juice as an example. One 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 25 to 30 grams of sugar. That's more than 6 teaspoons. And there's no fiber to slow it down. That sugar hits your bloodstream like a rocket. It spikes your blood glucose. It triggers a massive insulin response. And here's what happens next. That insulin surge signals your body to pull sugar out of the bloodstream and into your cells. But if you're over 60, your cells, especially your muscle cells, may not respond well. That's called insulin resistance. It's very common in seniors. It means the sugar doesn't get absorbed properly. So what does your body do? It starts storing that sugar as fat, and at the same time, your muscles are starved of energy. Now think about that, your legs, your thighs, your calves, those muscles need a steady, balanced supply of energy. When they're deprived, you start to feel weak, shaky, and unstable. And over time, if that process continues, your muscles begin to atrophy, they shrink, they lose tone, and your mobility suffers. It doesn't stop there. That sugar doesn't just affect your muscles, it also inflames your nerves and your blood vessels. Elevated sugar levels create what we call glycation end products. These are toxic compounds that damage tissue at the cellular level. They affect your circulation, and when your legs stop receiving proper blood flow and oxygen, you start experiencing symptoms like tingling, burning, numbness, and cramping, especially at night. I've seen countless patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond come into my office with those very complaints. Dr. Mandell, my legs feel heavy. I get these weird pins and needles in my feet. My balance is off and I can't walk far without sitting down. And you know what? When we take a closer look at their diets, many of them are starting their mornings with a glass of fruit juice thinking they're making a smart choice. But that juice, that's the hidden enemy. Now let's talk about dried fruit. Another one that seems healthy on the surface. Whether it's raisins, dried apricots, cranberries, or dates, dried fruit is fruit that's had all the water removed. What's left behind is concentrated sugar in a tiny package. Just a small handful of raisins can contain over 30 grams of sugar. That's more than a can of soda. And because dried fruits are so small and easy to snack on, it's incredibly easy to overeat them without realizing it. You might toss a few into your oatmeal, eat a few more after lunch, maybe grab a handful in the afternoon, and before you know it, you've consumed more sugar than your body can handle, especially at your age. Just like juice, dried fruits have little to no fiber left, so the sugar hits you fast, raises your blood glucose, and sets off that same inflammatory, muscle-damaging cascade we just talked about. Now think about your legs again. Every time you load your system with fast-acting sugars from dried fruits or juices, you're making it harder for your leg muscles to function properly. You're starving your mitochondria, the energy producers inside your muscle cells. You're increasing your risk for circulatory problems, and you're making it harder for your nerves to fire correctly. This doesn't mean fruit is bad. Let's be clear. Whole fruit, eaten mindfully and in moderation, can be a beautiful part of a healthy diet. But these concentrated processed forms of fruit, like juices and dried fruit, are not the same. They bypass the body's natural regulatory systems and can lead to chronic blood sugar issues, inflammation, and muscle weakness, particularly in your legs. So what can you do? First, swap out your morning juice for a glass of water with lemon or a small piece of whole fruit, like half a green apple. That green apple has fiber. It digests slowly. It keeps your insulin response moderate. and it gives your muscles a steady trickle of fuel instead of a flood. Second, avoid keeping dried fruits in your pantry where they're easy to reach. Instead, go for fresh berries, which are naturally low in sugar and packed with antioxidants. Berries also support your vascular system, improving blood flow to your muscles and nerves. Third, if you do eat fruit, always pair it with a protein or healthy fat. For example, a few slices of pear with almond butter or strawberries with cottage cheese. This combination slows digestion, balances your blood sugar, and keeps your muscles fed without triggering inflammation. And finally, be mindful of your portion sizes. A small juice or a tiny handful of dried cranberries might seem innocent, but to your aging metabolism, it can be a massive burden. My friends, I tell you this because I want you to thrive. I want you to walk confidently. I want your legs to carry you through life with strength and stability. But that means being aware of the small things that make a big difference. And fruit juice and dried fruit, though natural, can silently work against you. So make the shift today. Listen to your body. Treat it with love. Choose foods that nourish, not deplete. Your legs will thank you. Your energy will return. And you'll feel that confidence build again with every strong, steady step you take. I believe in you. And as always, my friends, if there's one thing I want to really drive home today, it's this. Not all fruits are bad. And I'm certainly not here to tell you to stop eating fruit altogether. No, that would be like throwing away the whole toolbox just because one tool doesn't fit the job. The truth is, fruits can be incredibly healing, but only if you choose the right ones, eat them in the right amount, and most importantly, combine them the right way. You see, once you hit the age of 60, and this is important, you have to start treating your body differently. Not because it's broken, not because it's weak, but because it's changing. Your body's chemistry is not the same as it was 10, 20, or 30 years ago. And one of the biggest changes happens in the way your body handles sugar. Even the sugar that comes from fruit. That means you must learn to become strategic with your fruit. Not fearful, strategic. It's not about cutting out all fruit. It's about eating the right fruits at the right time in the right way to protect your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, which are so vital for your strength, your mobility, and your independence. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a big bowl of sweet fruit by itself? Maybe some watermelon, a banana, or even a smoothie made with pineapple and mango. And then 30 minutes later, you feel tired, maybe even lightheaded, a little shaky. That's not just getting older. That's a blood sugar spike and crash. Your body just processed that fruit too fast. And why does that matter? Because every time your blood sugar spikes, your insulin rises. And if you're over 60, your body likely doesn't respond to insulin the way it used to. That means your muscles, the ones in your legs, hips, and core, aren't able to absorb and use that sugar for energy effectively. Instead, it gets stored as fat or lingers in your bloodstream, causing inflammation. So how do we fix this? The answer is simple and powerful. You must choose low sugar fruits, and you must pair them with protein or fat. That simple habit changes everything. Let's start with the best fruits for people over 60. My top recommendation, berries. Berries like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are your muscles' best friends. They're low in sugar, high in fiber, and packed with antioxidants that protect your muscles, joints, and blood vessels from damage. These antioxidants reduce inflammation and improve circulation, which is key for keeping your legs strong, your feet energized, and your balance steady. A handful of berries with a spoonful of almond butter or a few walnuts is a powerful healing snack that gives your body a slow, steady release of energy without the blood sugar roller coaster. Another great fruit, green apples. They're lower in sugar than red apples, and they're packed with pectin, a type of fiber that helps regulate blood sugar and improve digestion. A few slices of green apple with a piece of string cheese or a little peanut butter, that's a winning combination right there. Now what about fruits like kiwi or pears? Also excellent choices. They're moderate in sugar, but high in fiber. And when paired with something like cottage cheese or a few raw almonds, they become a nourishing, muscle-friendly snack that won't send your blood sugar through the roof. But the secret ingredient here, the thing that makes all the difference, is the pairing. When you eat fruit by itself, especially first thing in the morning or between meals, it gets digested quickly. The sugar goes straight into your bloodstream. And as we've already discussed, that leads to a spike, then a crash. Over time, these crashes wear down your muscles, your nerves, and your energy levels, especially in your legs, which require a steady supply of fuel and oxygen to stay strong and stable. But when you pair fruit with protein or fat, you slow everything down. You give your digestive system more time to work. The sugar enters your bloodstream more gradually. Insulin doesn't spike. Your muscles receive a controlled, steady stream of energy. That means more endurance, more power, better balance, and a stronger foundation. Let me give you a practical example. Instead of grabbing a banana by itself, which can spike your sugar quickly, try slicing half a banana over a bowl of plain Greek yogurt. Now, instead of a sugar bomb, you've created a balanced meal with protein, fiber, and healthy carbs. That's how you eat fruit after 60. Another example, you want a quick snack and you're reaching for some grapes, stop. Grapes are very high in sugar and low in fiber, but if you pair a small handful of grapes with a few slices of turkey or a boiled egg, now you've got balance. The protein slows digestion. Your body can handle that fruit much better. It's all about balance, my friends. You don't have to give up fruit, but you must respect the power of sugar, even natural sugar, because after 60, your margin for error is smaller, your muscles are more vulnerable, your insulin sensitivity is lower, and your energy can be fragile. You want your muscles, especially in your legs, to be fueled, not inflamed. You want your nerves to be supported, not irritated. You want to walk with confidence, not hesitation. And it all starts with your choices. Smart, mindful choices about what and how you eat. Let me tell you something else. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being aware. When you know better, you can do better. And if you've been eating fruit without thinking about how it affects your muscles and blood sugar, now's the time to make a change. It doesn't take a lot to feel the difference. Within just a few days of switching to low sugar fruits, watching your portions, and pairing them with protein or fat, many people notice more stable energy, fewer leg cramps, better circulation, and even improved sleep. That's the power of respecting your body's changing needs. So here's what I want you to remember. Choose fruits that are low in sugar and high in fiber, like berries, green apples, kiwi, and pears. Avoid fruit juices, dried fruits, or overly sweet tropical fruits like pineapple, mango, and watermelon, unless eaten in very small portions and balanced with other macronutrients. Always pair fruit with protein or healthy fat. Think Greek yogurt, nuts, eggs, or cheese. Never eat fruit alone on an empty stomach, especially in the morning or before bed. And most importantly, listen to your body. If a food leaves you feeling weak, tired, or achy, take notice. That's your body speaking to you. My friends, your legs are your power. They carry you through life. They give you independence, and they deserve to be fueled with care and wisdom. Let's make the right choices. Let's feed our bodies with love, and let's protect our strength because you're worth it. As always, I believe in you.
My dear friends, let's have a heart-to-heart today. I want to talk to you about something so deeply important that it can change the way you move, the way you live, and even how independent you feel in your daily life. I'm talking about something that often gets overlooked until it's too late, your legs.
You see, I've worked with thousands of people just like you, beautiful souls in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, who once walked with strength, moved with confidence, and lived without hesitation, but then slowly they began to feel it, weakness, instability, pain, or fatigue creeping into their legs. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. Your legs are your foundation. They're not just limbs that carry you from place to place. They are your freedom. They give you the ability to get up out of bed, walk across the room, climb stairs, go to the store, take a walk in the park, or play with your grandkids. They are your connection to movement, and movement is life. So when your legs start to weaken, when your muscles begin to shrink, when your knees feel unsteady, it's not just your body that suffers. It affects your confidence, your independence, your joy. Now here's the part that most people don't understand, and this is something I need you to really hear. Much of that weakness can be prevented, and one of the biggest culprits that's robbing you of your leg strength isn't always injury or aging or lack of exercise. It's the food you're putting into your body. More specifically, it's the excess sugar, even the natural sugar from certain fruits that slowly breaks down your muscle tissue, inflames your joints, and reduces the blood flow your legs so desperately need. I've said this before and I'll say it again, not all fruits are created equal, and after the age of 60, your body simply doesn't process sugar the way it used to. That means if you're eating high sugar fruits like grapes, bananas, watermelon, oranges, or drinking fruit juice every day, thinking you're doing something healthy, you might actually be contributing to the very problem you're trying to avoid, leg weakness. Why does this happen? Let's walk through it. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process known as sarcopenia. It's part of the aging journey, but here's the key. You can slow it down and even reverse it with the right approach. But when your blood sugar is constantly elevated, even from natural fruit sugars, your body becomes insulin resistant. That means the insulin your body produces to manage that sugar becomes less effective. And when that happens, your muscle cells can't absorb nutrients properly. Let me say that again because it's critical. If your insulin isn't working properly, your muscles get starved. They don't get the energy they need to repair, grow, and stay strong. And guess what? The first muscles to show signs of weakness are often in your legs, your thighs, hamstrings, calves, glutes. These are big energy demanding muscles. And if they don't get what they need, you start to feel tired, unstable, shaky, or even experience pain when standing or walking. I've had patients tell me, Doc, I used to walk 2 miles a day, no problem. Now I get winded after a few blocks. And when we look at their diet, guess what we find? A fruit smoothie for breakfast, a banana for a mid-morning snack, a bowl of watermelon in the afternoon, maybe a glass of juice with dinner. Again, they're not eating cake or candy, but their total sugar load is still too high, and their aging body can't handle it like it used to. And what happens next? The blood sugar spike leads to inflammation, which damages the tiny blood vessels in your legs. Your circulation slows down, oxygen delivery drops, your muscles get weaker, and over time, that weakness turns into instability. You start having trouble climbing stairs, you feel nervous walking on uneven ground, you avoid long walks, and the cycle continues. Use it or lose it. But the good news, my friends, is that you can stop this cycle. You have the power starting today to take control of your leg strength and protect your mobility for years to come. And it starts with being mindful of what you eat. You need to become aware of how sugar, even sugar from fruit, affects your energy, your muscles, and your circulation. You don't need to fear fruit, but you do need to respect it. You need to understand which fruits work with your body and which ones work against it, especially after 60. Stick with low sugar, high fiber fruits like berries, green apples, kiwi, and pears. These fruits won't cause that dangerous insulin spike. And most importantly, always pair your fruit with a protein or healthy fat like a few nuts, a piece of cheese, or some Greek yogurt. That one small step makes a huge difference in how your body processes sugar and how your muscles respond. And don't forget this, your legs need more than just the right food. They need movement, they need oxygen, they need strength. So combine that mindful eating with simple leg exercises, even if it's just marching in place, leg lifts in a chair, or a gentle walk around the block. Keep those legs moving and fueled properly, and you will see transformation. Let me be very clear, losing your leg strength is not just a normal part of aging, it's a signal, a message, a warning. And if you listen to it now, if you take the right steps, you can rebuild what you've lost and prevent further damage. Because I know something that you might not believe yet, you are stronger than you think. Your body is capable of healing, rebuilding, and thriving, even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. But you got to give it the right fuel. You've got to protect it from the silent saboteurs. And that starts by changing the way you think about fruit and sugar. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are not too old. You are full of potential, and I see it in you. So let's stop giving our body the wrong signals. Let's start feeding our muscles, supporting our nerves, and empowering our legs to carry us through this beautiful life. Because your legs are not just muscles and bones. They are your freedom. And you deserve to walk strong, live confidently, and move without fear. As always, I believe in you. I'm with you. And together, we will keep learning, healing, and growing.